I have to ask about Robert Kraft because 24 years together, 6 Super Bowls. Unless I'm wrong, he's not in this book. How come?
He's not. Well, again, it's about my life lessons in football, and it's really more about the ones that I experienced directly.
But he's not even in the acknowledgement section.
Correct.
Do you feel like you were treated with dignity and respect when you were let go by Robert Kraft?
Yeah, well, it was a mutual decision for us to part ways.
He said fired.
It was a mutual decision.
Oh, that was just a little glimpse of what was, all in all, a fairly disastrous interview on a book tour softball effort to try to pump up sales for The Art of Winning, which comes out next week. And Michael Holley, we've talked about it this week. I'm very curious your take. You've been close to the action over the years. Bill Belichick, Robert Kraft. I've said, just mention him once in the book. Just mention him once. Check the box. It becomes more glaring if you don't mention him anywhere in there. How can you not mention the guy who owns the team, who hired you, and allowed you to run the show exactly the way you wanted?
I mean, you want to talk about disingenuous, Mike. For Bill Belichick to say, I didn't mention Robert Kraft because this is about my life lessons in football that I experienced directly. Well, you met Robert Kraft in 1996 when you were an assistant on Bill Parcells' staff, and that's where the connection happened. There was a connection where they had these long conversations about team building in 96, and then when Parcells and Kraft had their fallout, it was Kraft who reached out to the Jets to try to get Bill Belichick to New England. And then they worked together for 20 years. How can you not acknowledge that connection? That is when there are probably 20 life lessons, football lessons, from the Kraft-Belichick relationship. So it just really tells you how dysfunctional it became. So dysfunctional that even today, Bill Belichick won't say he got fired. I know they didn't say that in the press release. I know they didn't say that at the press conference. Hey, we've made a mutual decision. It was not a mutual decision. And Bill knows it. He wanted to stay. Robert Kraft wanted him to leave. He left. He was fired. And Kraft eventually said the words later in an interview with the Breakfast Club in New York with Charlemagne and his crew. So he fired him. It really speaks to the deep dysfunction that happened, I'd say, Mike, the last 5 or 6 years in New England.
Mutual partings don't have a full buyout. It's negotiated, and it's less than what you're supposed to get. He got every penny he was supposed to get. He got his full buyout for not coaching the team in 2024, and he would have stayed if he hadn't been fired by Robert Kraft. And there was some reporting, I can't remember from whom, or I would give the proper credit, that they were going to do it a year earlier. I think the moment that he decided that it would be a good idea to put Matt Patricia and Joe Judge in charge of the offense, the 2022 season, that's when the die was cast, the Rubicon was crossed. It was done. And that was the season that at the end of that year, I think Robert Kraft wanted to do it based on the reporting that I've seen somewhere. Jonathan talked him out of it, and then one more year, that was just it.
Yeah, I think that's correct. And you know what, Belichick, I don't know if he put that. Have you read the book? Have you read that?
No, they didn't send me a review copy for some reason.
Oh, I wonder why. But you'd be good. It'd be good. He should have you on the list. I think you could.
Oh,
look
I'm
at
on
it
the list, all right.
and-
I'm definitely on the list.
Yeah,
Not that list.
Different kind of list. But isn't that a life lesson in football? And I'm not even being snarky here. The decision to put Matt Patricia in charge of the offense. Now we look at it now and say it didn't work. But Bill Belichick throughout his career, and this is where, if he's being honest about it, this would be compelling reading, where you talk about the chances that you have taken, those things that were unconventional, that worked, And then things you did, you thought, hey, I've done this before. It's an unconventional move. It's worked in the past. People criticized me, and it turned out just fine. Well, here's one that just I went too far, and maybe my ego got in the way, or maybe I didn't give enough attention to the details, and look what happened to the quarterback. Because we look at, there are some moves he made in his career, Mike, that if we look at it now, we say, oh yeah, that makes sense. But at the time, when he hired Josh McDaniels, McDaniels was the same age as Tom Brady. McDaniels had been a defensive assistant and a scouting assistant before becoming an offensive coordinator. So Tom Brady already had 3 Super Bowls by the time McDaniels got to him. You wouldn't think that this kid would be the perfect coordinator for Brady. It worked out. So he has done things in the past that have worked. I just think it would give more credibility to the book if he brought the good stuff and the negative stuff to the table to see, okay, here's my perspective now when I get a chance to look back on it.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.